Let's talk about something that gets debated a lot in cybersecurity, and that's whether you should get a degree, get certifications, or do the self-taught route to break into cybersecurity. I know you've probably seen a bunch of videos on this already. Some guy telling you need a degree, and then another guy saying, just watch YouTube bro, it's free. And you're just sitting there like, okay, but what's actually the move? So that's what I want to clear up in this video, and by the end of it, you're gonna have a clear answer on which path is worth your time and money right now. So let's set the stage first. When it comes to getting into cybersecurity, there are pretty much three paths people talk about. You've got the degree route, which means you go to university, you do a 3 to 4 year degree in computer science or cybersecurity, then you graduate and you get a job. That's the traditional path. That's what your parents probably told you to do. And then you've got certifications, and they're the targeted industry recognized qualifications like CompTIA Security Plus, the Google Cybersecurity Certificate, stuff like that. And then you study for a few months, pass an exam, and then add it to your resume. And then you've got the self-taught route, which is YouTube, free courses, hack the box, try hack me, just grinding it out on your own without any formal credential at the end. Now here's the thing. All three of these can work. I'm not here to tell you which one is completely useless, but what I am going to tell you is that 2026 specifically, certifications are going to give you the best bang for your buck if you're trying to break in, and let me explain what I mean by that. So let's talk about degrees first, because I think it's worth being honest about what you're actually signing up for. A cybersecurity or a computer science degree is going to cost you. It's about 3 to 4 years of your life, and that's not even including the living cost, the time off work, all that stuff. Now don't get me wrong, a degree isn't worthless. I'm not gonna sit here and say that. If you want to work in government or defense, or you've got your eyes on a senior role 10 years down the track, a degree can actually matter. But I think most people watching this video aren't thinking about 10 years from now. They're thinking about how do I get my first job in cybersecurity, and for that specific goal, a degree is honestly a slow and expensive way to get there. The curriculum at most universities is already outdated by the time you graduate. The threat landscape actually moves really fast, and the tools change, the techniques evolve, and a 3-year degree just can't keep up with that. Take computer science for example. If you took it 5 years ago, then it was still kind of useful, but now with AI, this degree is not as premium as before. Okay, so what about just going self-taught then? Like just grinding try hack me, watching YouTube, doing free courses. To be honest, I like learning a lot of stuff myself too. Platforms like TryHackMe and HackTheBox are super valuable, and I think everyone in cybersecurity should be using them. But here's the problem with going purely self-taught with no credentials to show for it. When you send your resume to a hiring manager, they don't know what you know. They can't see your TryHackMe profile in a 10-second resume scan. They don't know how many hours you put in watching YouTube. There's no credibility signal. You could actually be genuinely really skillful, way more skilled than the person next to you, but if your resume has nothing on it that they recognize, you're gonna get filtered out before anyone even talks to you. That's just the reality of how hiring works, which is flawed in general, but certifications solve that problem. Now before we move on, we have to talk about a platform that a lot of people use to learn about cybersecurity, and that is Coursera, who is the sponsor of this video. So if anything I've covered so far has you thinking, okay, I actually want to learn this properly, Coursera is honestly one of the best places to do that right now. And specifically, the Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate is something I would point you guys to. And here's the thing, it's fully self-paced and it's designed for people with no prior experience, and Google literally built this from the ground up to get people job ready. We're talking about roles that start in the 80k to 120k range. You go through things like network security, incident response, threat detection, Linux, Python, SIEM tools, all the real practical stuff that actually shows up in your job description. And because it's on Coursera, you can fit it around your lifestyle, your job, whatever you have going on. Most people finish in under 6 months, and when you do, you walk away with a certificate backed by Google, which is not nothing when it comes to getting your resume noticed. It's one of the most direct pathways from zero to job ready out there. There's a special link in the description right now where you can get yourself 40% off for 3 months on Coursera. If you have been thinking about making a move into cybersecurity at all, I would definitely check this one out. Alright, so here's the main point of the video. Why are certifications more effective right now, especially in 2026? First of all, employers are actively filtering out for them. I'm not gonna lie to you, the job market for cybersecurity right now has gotten a lot more competitive, especially at entry level. There are a lot more people trying to break in now than there were 2 or 3 years ago, so most hiring managers have started using certifications as a filter. If you have Security Plus on your resume, that tells them this person has baseline knowledge, they put in some work, there's some credibility there. Secondly, certificates are specific, and this is something I think people underestimate. When a company is hiring for a SOC analyst role or a junior pen tester, they have pretty much a specific idea of what they need. Certifications map directly to those skills. You're not doing 2 years of maths and then networking theory just to eventually get to the relevant stuff. You're going straight to the point. And third, you can stack them. This is one of my favorite things about certification path. You don't have to do everything at once. You start with something beginner friendly like the A+, then you move up to the Security Plus, and then maybe you go into something more specialized like a cloud security certification or an ethical hacking certification. You're building a portfolio of credentials over time, and each one is adding value to your resume. And fourth, the return on investment is just so much better. Like, we're talking about a few $100s and a few months of study versus potentially tens of thousands of dollars and 3 to 4 years of your life. Even if you have to do like 3 or 4 certifications to land your first role, you're still way ahead financially and time-wise. Now let me just quickly put some real numbers on this because I think it helps. A university degree, let's say conservatively, we're looking at around $30,000 to $40,000, and that's between 3 to 4 years. And you're graduating with a pretty generic qualification. A certification like the popular CompTIA Security Plus, the exam voucher is around $400, and you can prep for it in about 2 to 3 months if you're consistent. And Google's cybersecurity certification is on Coursera, and you can get through it in about 6 months for like $40 a month. And the ISC2 certified in cybersecurity is free right now. So you could stack all 3 of those, spend maybe $600 and 6 months, and walk to interviews with credentials that employers actually recognize. And that's pretty good value in my opinion. Okay, so if you're sold on a certification path, what should you actually go for in 2026? Here's how I would think about it. If you're a complete beginner, start with the ISC2 certified in cybersecurity. It's free right now, it's beginner friendly, and it gets you familiar with the core concepts. No excuses not to do this one. Once you've got the foundation, go for a CompTIA Security Plus. This is pretty much the industry standard for entry-level certification. It's on almost every single junior cybersecurity job posting. If you only do one paid certification, make it this one. And if you want something more practical and portfolio based, look at Google's cybersecurity certification on Coursera. It's got a lot of hands-on labs, and it teaches you the real tools, and it has Google's name on it. And from there, depending on what direction you want to go, cloud security, ethical hacking, blue team work, there are a lot of specialized certifications out there that you can layer on the top. But honestly, those first 3 certifications are your best bet to get your foot in the door. Alright, so that's pretty much the breakdown. If you enjoyed this video, then check out my other cybersecurity videos from this playlist, and give us a subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for watching.